emotional wellness and how to reframe, how to stay well, how to do self-care, and what self-care is for you could be amazing benefit to somebody else, and or what you feel like self-care is might not work for somebody else, right? And so um I did a little bit of self-care this weekend, which comes to, and then anyway, I did a little bit of self-care this weekend. Something that was out of my realm of what I normally do. And it was so therapeutically amazing for my soul. And um, I love nature and trees and being outside. And with this boot, I have not really been outside very much. And so we had an opportunity to, out of the blue, go to South Dakota to Deadwood. And we rented a cabin with three other couples, and it was supposed to be just a long weekend and just hanging out, playing cards, eating good food, all the amazing things, right? And that is an amazing reset because I do better when I get to leave my house and be with people. That's what lights me up, right? That's what lifts my soul. That's what gives me energy. I love connecting and I love getting together with people. So put in the chat if you're like an introvert and you're like, I need alone time to reset myself. Put it in the chat if you're an extrovert and you're like, oh my gosh, I miss people and hugs and all of the things, right? I like hugged every human. I think almost every human that was there. There was three couples and then grandma. And grandma was so amazing. Anyway, she warmed my soul at the end of it. She's like, Shannon, she's like, I just want you to know that it was so amazing to get to know you better. I am so incredibly grateful that you went, or that you came with us. And so this puts in a conversation. I had an amazing conversation last night with somebody, and emotions are we're struggling emotionally, and our kids are struggling emotionally. And I was just talking to one of the gals that we drove down with, and I was like, this would be really good to do a staycation like every quarter, right? Every quarter, like do something like this that just gets you out of, away from your job, away from all the doings of life, and gets you to just lean in to whatever you wanted to create. And every day I was like, she's like, what do you want to do? And I said, whatever's going to bring us joy. Like, if we're going to go to a museum, if we're going to go look at art, if we're going to walk around and look at all these amazing lobbies and this old, I mean, Deadwood is like old Western area, right? There's so much history. Like, there's portraits and pictures of Teddy Roosevelt and the old Harley Davidson, like the guys, and Wild Bill Hickok, and all the history of old Western community. And it's beautiful and amazing. And so I was like, we should do this quarterly. This would be super amazing. It wouldn't be super amazing for everybody, right? But it was amazing for me. And she was just like, yes, doing this quarterly, or getting out of your comfort zone, or getting out of all the doing, would be amazing quarterly. And I even brought this up with my team. Like, let's get together and connect, right? We get to be together, to know each other and know what feeds everybody's souls. And that's what I did this weekend. We had an opportunity to open up and listen to people's what was going right in their life, what they wanted to create in their life. One of the couples was getting married. They're getting married in March, and like listening to all of that and what they're creating. They went and bought a car, their first car together. And we were down there this weekend, and then what is going on that people needed really like someone to listen to them. And we just got opened up for like those intimate conversations that would never have happened if we weren't in this setting, right? In this setting where we were in a cabin. There was a hot tub we enjoyed. We played cards. We hackled. It was just so fun, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever played cards with people, but in my realm, people get a little competitive and they like to cheat. Does that resonate with anybody? Because I was like trying to hold my cards like really close because they're like, nice heart, Shannon. I'm gonna beat you, yada yada. It was so funny. Um, and so this
I don't
comes
know what you mean
oh,
by I'm
my watch is listening to us. That's super fun. Um, I I was talking to another lady last night, and we had devastating news that another teenager in our community, had taken his own life on Sunday. And so I was like, what are we doing wrong? Like, I know that not that we're doing anything wrong, but like what can change and make a difference in these people's lives, these kids' lives. Like what is making such a struggle and creating such a long struggle with these kids? Because it's really happening a lot around me, a lot around me. And I was talking to my business coach today, and I told her I talked to my kid, and I was like, asked her a question, and she was very blunt and bold. And I was like, holy cow, right? Her answer was like, holy cow. And I was just like, how can we make a difference? And it is all about self-care and self-regulation. And we talk about that here a lot, like changing the paradigm of the conscious and subconscious. Like we get to create a different world. And when we do that, like I'm here, asking the question, like, to you guys, like, how would you do that? We get to help our kids with self-care. We get to help our kids um when things aren't perfect, or we don't have that instant gratification that they're used to. Things seem to be like the end of the world, like there's chaos and crisis. In my experience, I see this in my kids, and I see this in the kids that they hang out with and they go to school with, right? um it's generational, and I know that. Like my eldest daughter, right after 9/11, and she graduated at the very beginning of COVID. So that is a generational trauma, right? Both of those things individually are a generational trauma. And so, but they don't teach self-regulation in school. They don't teach that it's okay to ask questions, or that it's okay to not be perfect at things, at sports or at school, or your ACT score, or there's so many pressures on 17 and 18-year-olds in your senior year or even your junior year to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And if I'm like, I didn't even know when I was 25 what I wanted to do the rest of my life. I'm still working on this. I'm still mastering what I want to do the rest of my life. And so this leads to emotional upheaval. It leads to um just so many things going wrong in your life, or you think that it's wrong, right? Your journey, you're afraid to make a mistake, basically. That's what it creates. That's how I feel, or in my experience. It makes kids worried that they're making mistakes if they don't know what they want to do. And I was talking to the lady on the way home. We have a 5-hour drive from this cabin trip. And that's what she said. Like, somebody said something when I was in high school, and I was like, well, then I can't do that. Like, then so therefore I cannot go to school. And so we literally take what people say to heart, and literally, and it changes the directory of our life. Um, and I'm not sure how to change that, but that is reality, right? If an adult says, well, you really shouldn't even be on the volleyball team. Um, and just say, if like Michael Jordan took that to heart when he got kicked off his high school his volleyball team, his high school basketball team, what if he never ever tried to go out for basketball again? What if he never tried to play the game again? And that's what I feel like our kids are taking it literally, and everything to heart, because they don't know, they don't understand, or they don't know how to naturally calm down the chaos, I guess. And so that's why we're here every week too, is to chat about that and have a conversation. I also think that my friend Zena also brought up last night that a lot of the emotional wellness, this is what I do, the emotional wellness that I talk about a lot of times in my groups are women. That is a human that I'm reaching out to as women, and it doesn't always have to be women that are struggling. Doesn't always have to be women that are in abusive relationships either. I know plenty of males that have been in abusive relationships before, or that are in abusive relationships. And so I think that adds a different layer to this realization or this paradigm as well. And so my business coach today actually encouraged me to go interview kids, like my kids' age or kids that are in high school, and interview the principal and see what he had to say about what's going on in the school system, because we get to change something. Um, and she explained something that they do in their school that I was like, yeah, I need to talk to them about what they do in their school, because they come together and do grief things. So it connects the kids to other life situations, like, right, abuse or divorce or um, just hard things that happen to people, and it connects them because then they don't feel alone. And maybe the bullying is less because they feel connected or resonance or empathy, compassion for these other kids in the school system. So that's be an awesome opportunity too. So I'm open to ideas in this conversation. Like, what do you think could happen? What do you think could shift this paradigm into less stress for the kids? And I really believe that's why people are homeschooling more, right? My kids struggled in school. Some kids don't. Some kids thrive in school and it's amazing for them and they have amazing experiences. My kids struggled in school, my eldest especially, with other humans in school. She got good grades, all of that, but um, and my second one, not so much, didn't struggle as much, but she still had the anxiety or the push to be perfect. Perfection is an illusion. So how do we change that? I think it is about perfection. We have to be perfect at this sport if we're going to play this sport. We have to be perfect in class if we're going to get a good GPA. We have to be perfect in this to get the scholarship. We can't make mistakes because our parents will think less of us. Or so-and-so will think less of us, or the history of the words that we've heard our entire life, right? History of those other people above us, our ancestors, or where we live, or our religion, whatever we're taught. Perfection is an illusion, and I feel like that's where our kids are. That the stress of it all is and then maybe there's not even the understanding that it's really the end for them, because there's so much illusion in the world right now, not much realness, except in here. So this conversation is kind of like, it's kind of a downer, I guess, more. And so we started out with self-care and what I did create it. So that was a conversation. I am open to having a conversation with that, or any experience or ideas, or if you resonate with this, if you have kids struggling, if you are struggling, like, I really needed to get out of Dodge. I have been like reframing a lot lately, and doing and not being, right? And when I got out of my realm and out of my house, where I feel like I have all these things to do in my house, that I see, when I get out of that realm, I can just open up and be creative and be laugh and get rejuvenated. And so, and my favorite place to be is in the trees. Oh my Lanta. My favorite place to be is in the trees. And just feel that fresh air. And that fresh air was snowy, lots of snow. We did not go skiing, but we saw lots of skiers. So that was really fun too. So this week's self-care was to be with humans that would re-energize you, to take care of your emotional self the best you can, and also offer or be open if you're getting challenged, if your emotions are challenged, or if you're having a hard time, to reach out and talk to somebody you trust, because that's also what happened this weekend. so many conversations were had, that were hard conversations, but they got to be openly shared with people, trusting people that, um, they felt that they weren't alone. I was like, I get it. I'm in that position too, right? Um, and you get to have that. And so I feel that no matter the age that you are, no matter your gender, the guys went and they talked and they went to the guy stores like Cabela's and Harley and Shields, and um I went antiquing, and we just did whatever filled our hearts, right? And that's kind of hard, and it's kind of a challenge to master, is when you're a group of people, it's like, what do we all do together? And you get to create whatever you like, whatever brings you joy. You get to create that, especially if you're on a weekend away or a long staycation. Maybe it's just you're in your house, but you put all the other stuff away, right? You don't clean your house. You create your favorite foods, and you light some candles, or you put some music on and you have your own open mic night, or whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you have wine night with your friends, or game night, and you create joy. But you get together and it brings up like so many different conversations. Like, we haven't done that for so long. I haven't played cards for so long, and I forgot how much fun it was. So bring in the fun. We're always into bringing in joy, right? But we did bring up this last week about the pillars of health. And a big pillar that we have let go is human connection. And so I invite you to find a way to connect with humans. And I would love to know what you're going to do, or if you have a trip planned, or if you have a connection planned, because that's what I get to do today. I'm going to talk to my team. I'm going to like reach out to my friends, and we get to either via Zoom or in person, we get to create connections that are going to bring us joy. Because this hustle and bustle, every single day grind, absolutely we get to make intention and massive action and put intention in life, but we also get to live joyful, happy, and connected. Because why else are we here? Right? I don't think that we are intended to just work every single day until we're 80 and then be done with this world and not ever have fun. And so if you are a caretaker, because that's what is going on this weekend, I'm at my grandma's right now. So we're in a different place, right? We get to shift into creating a both and this week I'm at my grandma's house, and she's on hospice, and we get to shift in taking care of other people. And if you are a caretaker, you also get to remember to take care of you. These humans in this household that have been taking care of my grandma for the last 5 years are tired. They're tired. And it's stressful. It's emotionally draining to be a caretaker. And so you don't get burned out. It's the same thing as if you just constantly are driving to the next thing, constantly driving to the next rank, constantly driving for the next payday or the next big break in your business. Or that is hard emotionally as well. That can lead to breakdown. That can lead to overwhelm. And so taking those pieces a moment, open up your calendar for the year. This is what a lot of people do. And what I think I should do is one time a month, plan out one thing with something, date night with a friend, right? One time a week, date night with your significant other, or bi-weekly, however you guys can do that. But quarterly, like create space where for 2 days you do something completely different and have an adventure, because you get to do both. And I know, listening to two humans and listening to my entire family, my grandma had 10 kids. She's 99 years old. She is still at home. And these humans have taken care of her for 5 years, right? She took care of them for 18. I mean, right? Actually, for more than that, because she's 99. So for I don't even know, 70 years she is taking care of humans. So she gets to be taken care of too. But so what are you going to create? Because your brain needs it, your emotions need a staycation. So what does that look like for you? Even if it's in the motel downtown, I used to do that. So what does that mean, or what does that look like for you? What would bring you joy, recenter you, reframe you, that is a physical shift? I love essential oils. I used oils before I come up here, right? Before I got on here, I used super mint and I smelled gardenia. Love those two oils together. Super mint opens up my airways, and makes me just feel open and ready to go. And gardenia is a flower, so it's really good for your emotions. But what are you going to do that's physical shift, that your body gets to go somewhere else to create something else? Because we get to get out of fear and we get to create joy. I can't wait to hear you and see your comments. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And if you want to learn more about MetaPower, it is Tuesday. So we have a masterclass tonight, 30 minutes of goodness. Check out my link on my personal page. There is an event, or DM me and you can get invited to class. All right. You guys have an amazing day. I hope this is not such a downer, but it's on my heart because I'm connected to so many humans that have seniors in high school and that have teenagers. And I know watching my teenagers grow up, how emotional draining it is. And they're just young, right? They have all of our stuff and their own. And we're here trying to change the paradigm. So we get to shift it for them too. All right. You guys have an amazing day. Many blessings to you. I will see you next week. We'll talk soon.